Welcome to ANTI-REPTOID Radio. I'm Dr. David Ziz.
And I'm Brother John.
And today we have much to talk about. Well, first off, Pizzagate. I think Pizzagate is where we really need to go.
Right. I mean, we discussed this a little bit in the last time we got together, but obviously this whole Pizzagate situation is ramping up. And I mean, this is about more than just perverts. There is a deeper cause, and that is the reptilians.
Of course, the reptilians.
You know, nobody is talking about this. You know, people are going on and on and on about fake news. Well,
yeah.
You know what? Anybody who doesn't talk about the reptilians is fake news.
Yes, I'm talking to liberals online, and they just have ad hominem attacks. They argue that the liberal media is good. You throw your truth out there, and they call you a reptophobe because you worry about the future of your family, your community, and your country.
Right. And what else is there to care about other than your country?
God.
Right. But as we know, since the Tower of Babel, God wants mankind to be united in different countries.
Exactly. God has divided us up.
Separate but equal.
Exactly. And now the New World Order wants to defy God and transgress these natural moral boundaries.
Right, they want to rebuild the Tower of Babel, which is the eye at the top of the pyramid.
Exactly. The Federal Reserve is very much an arm of the American Illuminati.
Right, and now Pizzagate ties into this because the children that they're bringing in for these depraved sexual rituals are Haitians.
Yes.
They're Haitians.
They're being smuggled in by Sean Penn.
Right. They are being brought from Haiti, which is a nation of idolaters.
They were destroyed by voodoo worship.
Right. It is their satanic love of voodoo, which is what inflicts all the pain and suffering on their lives.
Yeah, this is not fringe or right wing. You can go on to mainstream media and see Pat Robertson saying this.
Look, you don't see America, at least not most of America, getting leveled by hurricanes and earthquakes every 10 minutes. Why do you think that is?
It's because of the liberal media and their tenacious cover-ups of pedophilic orgies going on under their noses on behalf of the people who sponsor them, the politicians that they're in bed with, obviously.
Literally and figuratively.
Well, not at the same time as with the children.
Right.
Well, or are they?
They must be.
Is the media in these pedophilic circles?
Without a doubt. Go away. Not when my friends are home.
Oh, okay.
So, you still have to see a social worker? I mean, that was years ago.
Yeah, well, ever since the court order and...
Big Brother.
Right.
Yeah, they're watching you.
Exactly. So, it's not really up to
That's
me.
why you're not afraid to come out like this. You already know they have an eye on you. What's the worst they can do?
Right, and that's why I hang out with you, right? Because you have guns, and I'm not allowed to have any. And there's no way that I'm going to hang out in this liberal world. A world where Pizzagate is going on. And
Yeah.
you think I'm going to roam the streets without protection?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
And then they fake anger over Pussygate. When John Podesta is openly and admittedly having sex with children.
Oh. Let's talk about feminism for a bit. Because...
Oh, now you sound like every woman I ever tried to go out with.
No.
Go on. Yeah, let's talk about feminism and how it relates to Pizzagate.
Right. Obviously, the feminist agenda has driven men to hate women.
That's it.
That's part of it, right? And so, because of women making men hate them, they've driven men to become homosexuals.
Yes, this is the thing. And homosexuals, by and large, tend to engage in pedophilic acts with sex slaves.
Right. I mean, everybody wants
It's a slippery slope.
a youthful partner, right?
Yeah.
So It only makes sense if you're already kind of deranged enough to be, you know,
Yeah.
swinging in that direction.
Liberal.
It's only so long until you start messing with goats and children,
Yes.
spirit cooking, and pizza parties, where you're not eating pizza, you're eating Haitian children.
That's terrible.
I know.
And the pizza shop, that's just a cover for all these code words.
Right, and I don't know if you've heard about this, but there are tunnels beneath this pizza shop.
All the Democrats have tunnels connecting all their institutions. The second I learned a friend of John Podesta owned this pizza shop, I assumed that there was a bomb shelter in it.
Who knows what kind of horrifying tunnels, endless labyrinths of slavery and iron chains await whoever is brave enough to go down there.
This is the stuff Jack Chick writes about. This is the liberals in bed with the media, in bed with the Catholics, in bed with our children. And this is destroying America.
That's right. And now, this is just the rash.
This is just how the disease presents. This isn't even at the root.
Now, God is omnipotent, and he is good. But God, to test mankind, has allowed Satan to run amok. I mean, Satan is vanquished, right?
It's just like in the Book of Job.
He was vanquished at the cross.
Yes.
But for some reason, he's still around, and he still really caused a lot of problems.
Well, he was vanquished in the name of Christ, so he only causes problems for non-Christians.
That's right. And, you know, we are protected from these ill effects of the New World Order.
I do not fear Satan's direct influences. I fear what his minions can do to me.
Right. And now, what we're trying to get at here is that this is the rash of the problem. And the root of the problem is the cult of NASA.
And at the heart of that is Saturn, where the reptilians get their phylacteries into a dense gravitational core so they can project the moon to bring themselves into Earth.
Right, so
Saturn moon matrix, people. David Icke knows about this.
the ritual starts today. And what's happening is that NASA is sending its image, its idol made out of various metals, made of various plants and materials.
It's an idol of one of their old heroes whom scientists worship as a god, and that is the Italian astrologer Cassini, a neo-Saturnalian philosopher and Satanist.
Right. Cassini was an astrologer, which, as we all know, is the science of Satan.
It is. It's
the
the
Bible
purview of...
strictly forbids all forms of divination. It's very clear. Now, Cassini was also a worshipper of Saturn. He would dress in black robes, and he would climb up black mountains, and he would sit, and he would watch with his telescope, night after night after night. He would stare into Saturn.
And now if I said, remember what we said, Saturn is Sauron. They're all the same entity.
And Satan.
Satan, exactly. What happens if you dedicate your
And
mind to...
Set.
What happens if you dedicate your mind to these evils? They overtake you.
Right, and so this Giovanni Domenico Cassini, who was a Catholic, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This guy had reptilians enter into his body, and he was possessed, and
He was a Jesuit who was behind the infiltration of the Scottish Rite of the Masonic Order, and he died of a blindness that has always possessed his soul.
right. Now, God struck him with the manifestation of what was going on in his inner life.
Utter darkness.
Right, and now the problem is that he died, and his body was kept in a reliquary at the Jesuit University of Genoa. And there, in his unholy reliquary, his reptilian essence was kept until it was brought to California, to the California Institute of Technology, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And there they built out of the bones of Cassini a spaceship that could fly to Saturn.
And they're going to send this shell there to resuscitate it in anticipation of Project Lucifer.
Right. Project Lucifer is the main threat. This is the marriage of Juno and Jupiter, and this will mark the Antichrist.
And now they're trying to make Saturn, that is the father, whole with the return of his prodigal son, the anti-prodigal son, Cassini, as his trek through space resumes.
Right, and now what they're trying to do is create a black sun. This would be like a reptilian sun. It would be the light to the reptilians, and this would allow them to maintain their full form at all times.
Exactly. And when we say black sun, it will look like light to us because it will emanate light, but at its surface it will actually be black, unlike our sun.
Right, it will be like an ultraviolet sun, and this is the sun that will maintain the reptilians during their total dominance over the planet.
And they're trying to bring the darkness back in power. They're trying to wipe out humanity now that we've got Trump in power. Well, soon. He's not in yet. Stay vigilant.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Who knows? I mean,
they're watching Alex Jones. They're tracking us.
Right. Jill Stein is trying to get a recount.
Everyone knows Jill Stein is just an arm of Hillary.
Right, and you know what they say? Green on the outside,
red
on the inside. Environmentalism is just communism.
It's the common turn of the 21st century.
We don't need to worry about global climate change when Christ is returning in less than a decade.
Yeah, it's just the Climatist International, people.
Alright, so I just want to read to the audience a little bit from this article here that's released from NASA, which, as we all know, is a mind control operation. It's a total psyop. So, it says, first phase in dramatic endgame for long-lived Cassini spacecraft. A thrilling ride is about to begin for NASA's Cassini spacecraft. Engineers have been pumping up the spacecraft's orbit around Saturn this year to increase its tilt with respect to the planet's equator and rings. And on November 30th, following a gravitational nudge from Saturn's moon, Titan, Cassini will enter the first phase of the mission's dramatic end game. What do you think that end game is?
The dramatic end game is clear. They're trying to immanentize the eschaton and bring about the end of days, but not through the redemption of humanity through the word of Christ, but through some antichrist figure that through his own delusion, Lucifer thinks can still succeed. It's crazy, but it still can do a lot of damage to us and should cause us to fear for our souls. This is not a good time to rest on one's laurels.
That's right. We need to stay vigilant, and we need to keep an eye out for this Saturn operation. I mean, it's too late. Even if we were to storm NASA tomorrow and overturn their dark satanic mills of progress, we would not be able to stop Cassini, which is already in orbit with Saturn.
We must repent. We must prepare for the coming war with the demons and the internationalists.
Right, it's coming. The only way to stop it is to allow Christ to enter your heart. That's all you can do.
Listen, they talk about us like we're enemies. They're preparing for war with us. What else is there to say?
I don't know. I was listening to this other radio show the other day. There's a great channel on YouTube called Non-Human Entities.
I like it. I at times I love it, at times I hate it. But overall,
Right. And like,
they don't deny Christ. They're not closed-minded, but they obviously haven't seen.
right, because, this guy hosting the show, he says, you've got your way, I've got my way.
There is only one way, and it is Jesus Christ.
There is only one way.
He is the way.
What? Who else said, I am the way, the truth, and the life? Nobody comes to the Father except through me. Nobody. So, there is only one way. It's not my way and your way, it's God's way, and that's it.
Yes. But, after this major complaint, the stuff he has to say, the interviews he gets, the knowledge that he has to disseminate is just prolific.
It's brilliant. And, if he wants to engage us in debate,
we would gladly respect his opinions.
right, because it is our firm belief here at ANTI-REPTOID Radio that there's nothing you can do against the reptilians without Christ. That's the linchpin.
Yes, they are not of this world, and materialism, reductionism, science, evolution, this is just playing by their rules.
Right. There's no scientific illuminism, there is only reptilian ignorance.
A true darkness.